Hey friends. All right. So this week we're going to be focusing on text structures and we're going to be looking and diving into three types: cause and effect, comparing and contrasting, and sequencing. You dabbled in it a little bit for cause and effect the first week of distance education, but that was just to get used to how we would be working on the computer. We're going to be looking at a passage titled A Troubled America, and you'll notice that I already went ahead and used my annotating tools, and I'll show you how I did that just to save us some time. It says A Troubled America, and I'm looking at my graphic organizer before I begin. Like we talked about, we always want to look at our questions before we start reading the passage so we know what we're going to be looking for. I had to identify two types of cause and effect relationships in the passage, and then I had to identify some keywords, and that's where I used my red tool. When I recognized a cause and effect keyword, I circled it with my red circle. Then I had to explain what the author was trying to teach me within the text with cause and effect. A troubled America. Throughout history, an unfortunate common theme has repeated itself. That theme is inequality. So I used my highlighting tool and I just dragged it over and then I shrunk it to fit the word inequality. That prefix in means not equal. There are people who have believed that they are better than others. It can be because of what gender they are or what race they belong to. In America, the acceptance of inequality led to slavery. In early American history, there was a belief among many people that people with darker skin were inferior to them. Inferior means less. Due to this, Europeans went to Africa and enslaved thousands of people and brought them to America against their will. The enslaved people in America were not treated well, and some Americans started to realize how awful slavery was. The northern states outlawed slavery while the southern states kept it legal. Neither side saw the views of the other side as being acceptable. Tensions built over disagreements, including the disagreement on slavery. They boiled over and caused the Civil War in the 1860s. The Civil War was fought over 4 years. The Union, which consisted of the northern states, eventually won in 1865. The end of the war made for a much more unified country. Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation during the war. This declared all enslaved people were free. The United States had issues during the 1850s and 1860s. However, slavery was outlawed permanently at the conclusion of the Civil War. Now, if you hit the present button, I want to remind you that the annotating tools will disappear. So if you want to be able to use these, you're going to have to leave it in this view as what you're looking at on my computer right now. For green, I told myself that was going to be the causes and the blue was the effect. So I'm just going to do one because of my time limit. It says, in America, the acceptance of inequality. So because America was accepting people not equally, that led to slavery. And that's where I took my blue tool and I put it under led to slavery. So because of inequality, that led to slavery. Then over here, because of darker skin, that led to Europeans going to Africa and enslaving thousands of Africans against their will and bringing them to America. Then over here, I said, because enslaved people in America were not treated well, that as a result caused a civil war, because in the passage it taught me that the North disagreed with what the South was doing. So because of that, the war started, and because of the war and the North state winning, that's when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves in America. So then I came to my graphic organizer and I just put in all that information that I underlined. Exactly what was in the text is exactly what's on my graphic organizer. Acceptance of inequality led to slavery. People thought darker skin meant that they were inferior, and because of that, I added the keyword so. Europeans went to Africa and took Africans against their will and enslaved them. I said I used my red circle tool because I saw due to and caused. Those are keywords, so I typed them up here. Then, what was the connection within the text? The text explained why slavery happened and then the effects of the Civil War on slavery. So we found out why slaves came to America. That was because of inequality, because of the color of their skin caused people to see them as inferior, and because of that, they brought them here. And because of the North and the South having a disagreement, that is what caused the Civil War. In the Civil War, the North winning caused Abraham Lincoln to sign the Emancipation, causing the slaves to become free.